Before we begin, I want to preface this episode by letting you know that I understand how insanely addicting salt is. If you're eating a healthy vegan diet, devoid of dead animal body parts and processed foods, then you are doing better than you've ever done in your life, and you should be proud of that. It's so important that we understand we don't need to be perfect, but we do need to be vegan. We need to leave the animals alone. We have no rights to drink their birthing fluids and no right to eat their dead bodies either. And if you need to put salt on raw food or healthy vegan food, trust me, I understand. I've been using salt all 15 years that I've been raw since 2011. Whether that's Himalayan pink salt in my dressings or seaweed or mustard. And there's nothing wrong with doing that while you transition off the salt. I'm going to tell you a few healthy alternatives that you might want to use instead of salt. But I just want you to know that it's not about perfection, it's about making progress. So maybe, yes, you need to put salt in your dressing for the food to taste good. Maybe you need to put salt in your salad or your raw vegan wraps, your dips, your hummus, your dressings. That's okay. That's okay. I don't want you eating gross food. If it doesn't taste good, you're not going to eat it, and you're not going to stay on a healthy, high raw or raw vegan lifestyle long enough to see results. So you got to be happy and satisfied. And if salt does that for you, then do you, boo. It's so important. You've got to make delicious, amazing food for you to stick to this lifestyle. I do want to encourage you to eat as much fresh, ripe, juicy, delicious fruit as possible. Fruit is our species specific food, and it has to be ripe. Okay, so every single fruit smells except for watermelon and grapes and avocado, but everything else has to smell before you take it home. Make sure you're buying ripe fruit and high quality fruit, and I'm about to tell you in a second how I find high quality fruit wherever I go. I lived in New York as a raw vegan for 9 years, and it was amazing. I got the best fruit ever. Make sure you're eating as much fresh fruit and vegetables as you would like. Whether that's in a fruit salad, if you want to make a fruit salad, or if you want a mono meal, that's my favorite way to be raw. It's just simply eating one fruit at a time, one fruit that you have in abundance that is super delicious and that you love to eat. I never eat anything I don't like to eat. When I used to force myself to drink wheatgrass shots and green juice and shit, I was miserable and I wanted to eat cooked food. And I almost did many times. So whether you do mono meals or fruit bowls or smoothies, nice cream, smoothie bowls, even juices, but juice is not a meal. Be careful with that. Juice is a supplement, okay? It's in addition to your meals. That's totally fine. And now I want to show you how I find high quality fruit. So you go to Google Maps, okay? And you type in durian. Wherever you are in the world, you will then find your closest local Asian markets. And what you're going to do is look through the photos, see what time they open and close, and go visit. It is crucial that you get high quality fruit, and you're not going to find it in the supermarkets. They don't know how to store their fruit. It's too cold in there. Nothing is ripe, and you're going to come home with a bunch of fruit that you can't eat. So I highly recommend you go to farmers markets. You support your local farmers if you're living somewhere in a warm climate this winter, or you do this trick. Another thing that you want to be aware of is Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is a phenomenal resource to finding locally grown fruit, especially if you live in a warm climate. Right now, it's persimmon season, so if you're living in a cold climate, check out Facebook Marketplace. You may find a persimmon tree a few blocks away, and somebody's giving them away for free. Yeah, that's right. I have fruity cuties up north that are getting persimmons and apples and berries and all types of fruit for free on Facebook Marketplace or for a very little cost. Okay, and the last thing I want to share is some options instead of regular salt. So celery is extremely salty once your taste buds change. You can purchase celery salt on Amazon or at your local health food store. Lemons and limes can also satisfy a salt craving. So add those to your salad, to your dressings, and you might find that they're enough. And finally, dried coconut water actually is a little salty, and you can get that on Amazon, and this I have found to be the best salt replacement. I don't recommend seaweed as a salt replacement anymore, and I don't recommend salicornia either, and you'll find out in this episode why. We can tell easily that seaweed is not our species-specific food. And if you're like me and you live by the ocean, then you're very aware of the disgusting smell that seaweed has. And you would never put that in your mouth. I know that it looks edible and it's in a package in Whole Foods, but it's not our food. No matter how beautiful it looks, no matter how salted and salty it is. You'll find out today why seaweed is actually not a health food, and how it does not contain the minerals that we need to thrive and be healthy and happy. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm not asking you to give up all salt immediately right now today. I'm asking you to do your best, because that's all you need to do in this moment, your best. And your best is always vegan. There is no excuse for animal abuse. And I promise you, life is so much better when you're not paying for others to torture, rape, and murder innocent animals. Energy never dies. And when you eat animal products or their fluids, you absorb their energy. You absorb their fear. You absorb all of the terror and the pain that they suffered right before they were killed. And if you're not eating animal products and you're not eating unhealthy food, then please know that you're doing amazing. And if you need to eat some cooked fruit and vegetables, I understand. And if you need to put salt on them, I absolutely relate to that. Don't worry. If you minimize the amount of salt slowly but surely, you can easily break your addiction. You know, that's the reason why it's so difficult to get off salt. It's because it's a drug. It's a powerful, addictive drug. And so now let's dive deep with Eli Martyr so we can finally learn the information that will set us free. Not everyone gets blessed with the truth. Not everyone is going to hear or be open to this information that you will hear today. Knowledge is power, and you are about to step in to your power. Are you ready?
Natural salts that you find in nature, it's not just sodium chloride that you're finding. Heavy metals and other contaminants, arsenic, lead, aluminum, it might have cadmium. You don't want cadmium in your body. Animals sometimes using salt licks. Okay, how do we make sense of that? What makes a food is if Mother Nature designed you to eat that thing. That's what makes a food. But if it were the other way around, then anything could be food. I could be mowing down on the monitor right now, right? Because there's all sorts of minerals in the computer chips, loaded with minerals. But why is it not food? Why is it not food? Most people have been deeply and unfortunately conditioned not to trust themselves. And so that's a hurdle that will take some time to get over. But here are some easy litmus tests. When people eat my kale chips, if I salt them with the cheapest, easiest refined table white salt, they're not going to notice any real difference if I use, you know, premium yoga meditating upside down on the salt pile before he sells them. They're using refined table salt. So if you try to play nature, you try to outsmart nature by ignoring this relationship and putting into your system that which your nature screams is objectionable, it will be you that has to pay the piper, right?
You play yourself, boo. When you play
Yes.
nature, you play yourself. That's what Eli's trying to say. You
Yes.
play yourself. Woo, that
Yes.
was good.
Yes.
No, because you talking about everything that people think is okay to eat. Because
Right.
everybody here is vegan, but they eating French fries. Well, you can't eat a potato. You can't eat a potato. Oh, but
Right.
starch solution. No, but you can't eat that.
Yeah.
You manipulating it, you
Yeah.
putting salt, you oil, cooking. Let's not even talk about the cooking process. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And
Right.
then you want amazing health, but you don't even want to master the basics.
They have a business to run. So they need to addict you to the product, so they use salt. Just like every smart business, every smart restaurant will use salt because they need you to be addicted to their food, and it'll be the cheapest type of food they can possibly find, right? Any of those products, you're asking for the cheapest salt that money can buy, and then the joke at the end of the day is that when you
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jeannette, also known as Ms.FitVegan. I have Eli, the founder of the Free Melon Society here. Okay. And he is about to go to Bali. Okay, so he's about to be at the Doug Graham Bali retreat. So it's you and Ann Osborne and Fully Raw Christina and Doug Graham. It's
Yeah.
just like, have you ever met Ann Osborne?
No, I've only met her online at an online event, but that's it. I've never actually gotten to interact with her like face to
That
face.
oh, she is one of the nicest people on this planet. Don't try to make
Oh,
her a
really?
salad. She's not going to eat it. She's not going to motherfucking eat your salad. Because I tried to make her a salad once. She was like, "Oh no, dear, I'm so sorry. I don't eat that for like 30 fucking years. Get a clue." No, she didn't say get a clue. She said, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." So then I just blended up some mangoes. She drank
Yeah,
that.
and
I
she
just wanted
drank
to
that.
make her
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't know she
Oh,
was, for real, for real. She's for real.
yeah.
She, like you, she's the real deal. And now
Mm.
we want to get into the salt. So thanks for joining me. I may ask you some random questions, but this is going to be focused on salt. And I have questions from my viewers that watched the Doug Graham interview.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
I didn't send these to you because I like to keep you on your toes, see if you're the real
Mm.
deal. All right. So let's see. All right, what are your thoughts on this one? So somebody said, I have low blood pressure where I am fainting, and salt is the only thing that saves me. So it's never black and white, Jeannette. A person should listen to their body. I think we both agree to that. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
should listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
One man's poison is another man's medicine. Removing salt on my journey was a big mistake for me. Somebody commented underneath that and they said, "Me too. My blood pressure dropped so low that I felt like I was close to death. I will never cut out salt again. I'm also running a few miles every day throughout the week, so I sweat a lot." What are your thoughts on the people that say that they need salt and like it's dangerous to cut it out? What are your thoughts on that?
That you would have to go over every single element in your lifestyle and everything that you're taking into your body, whether food wise, whether it's air quality, whether you would have to take an account and just go and log everything, right? Because there's something going on with the body, and putting putting a poison into the body that drastically dehydrates the tissues that your body can't really make good use of. That is going to coagulate things. You don't want to rely on that just to do something to perform an operation that the body should be doing on its own. Right.
Mm.
We are constantly obsessing over the playing to the symptom game. And we alleviate a symptom and asking why you need to resort to that thing. We don't really care about that. Just give me the salt and I'll be on my way. But you would want to ask a very serious question. Why do I need this? Because there's something behind that that is causing your body to not be able to regulate itself. So I don't, there's not one thing that I can say to whoever that person would be, but that's where you have to go down the list, right? You have to talk with the person. You'd have to investigate what is going on in your life because because there's something there that is causing this blood pressure issue, and using salt is a crutch because there are negative repercussions to doing that that may not show up in immediately in the short run, right? But this is the same for everything that tends to focus on just symptom relief, right? There's always the honeymoon period at first, and then the chickens come home to roost, right? At some point, right? Then something happens way later on, right? Because the body must run a compensation program to deal with the fact that you are putting in something that is um, toxic, right?
Ooh, yeah, that's
Someone can
good.
smoke for decades, okay? Someone can drink for decades. What happens? The body has to run a compensation program due to your silly decisions to smoke and drink. It has to run a compensation mechanism. Now, that compensation mechanism, it's not supposed to run interminably forever. It's supposed to be a quick fix. That's what the body's hoping, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna dull this pathway and get rid of this pathway, and I'm gonna block up that nerve because that makes you too sensitive to this toxin. So I'm gonna have to friggin' patch it up with paper mache and just block it so that you don't notice how damaging this garbage is that you're taking, right? So that's compensating. But if that happens day in, day out, every single day for years and years, what do you want me to say, right? We're not supposed to be taking in poisons.
Yeah, that was really good. Sorry,
Mm.
I learned so much when you talk, Eli. So this makes sense. That makes sense. And I think everybody now will understand why somebody could say something like that because it's very confusing,
Yeah,
just like the supplement thing we did, which,
yeah.
everybody loved. And I appreciate you for that. Just to clarify these things, we have another one.
Mm,
Um, I think your answer is going to be the same, actually.
mm,
Somebody wrote, your body needs salt. Too little sodium causes hyponatremia. Do
hmm
you know what that is?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
It's salt, right? Too little salt,
And you can go
sodium.
into a coma or die. Do not, Eli, you could die. So listen up, listen up. Do not stop eating salt because two random people on the internet said it's bad for you. First of all, I am not random, and Doug Graham is not motherfucking random. So don't you ever in your life. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Wait, I should have reviewed these questions before I started this interview. But
No,
anyway,
it's all
okay,
good.
let's focus. So now I didn't read this. I just, clicked the question containing comments, and
Mm,
I see this one. Do not stop because of two random people. I'm not random. Okay, first of all, and then do not take medical advice from random. Okay, again, random.
yeah.
Blah blah blah. All of the information, science backed. Please do not believe. Okay, they have a good point. Please do not believe everything you hear on the internet. Good point. So
Yep.
now the question is,
Yep.
Eli, I'm going to take their stupid comment and turn it into a good question, which is, how do you know what is truth and what is not truth? How do you decipher? Like, how did you come to the conclusion that salt was not healthy?
That's fairly easy to answer. First of all, I read up about it, okay? But more importantly, I just put it to the test in my own experience so that I had something concrete that I could actually with my own eyes see and my own body feel, right? I could run those tests, and when I run those tests, then I don't need the advice or opinion of experts anymore after that. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the deal. Now,
Yeah.
again, most people have been deeply and unfortunately conditioned not to trust themselves, and so that's a hurdle that will take some time to get over. But here are some easy litmus tests. Uh, actually, no, I can't. No, I can't give you this litmus test because you'll die. Uh,
What?
it, it, it,
You'll only die if you
Doug,
stop eating salt, Eli. What are you
yeah.
talking about?
D you and Doug had a phenomenal interview.
Oh, you saw
Doug
it?
ans yeah, I saw it. You guys
Thank
had
you.
a phenomenal interview,
Thank you.
and he answered a lot of these types of questions, right? So he covered a lot of ground. So I'm glad you guys put that out there. But okay, natural ways that you can tell. Well, uh, Christ, put a teaspoon of salt in your mouth with no other foods to dilute the sensation, right? You are going to be hit with an immediate feeling of dehydration. Why? Because that's what salt does. It whenever there's some sort of like heavy metal or some sort of poison, some sort of toxin, right? It's gonna want to draw out water because your body sends hydration to anything that it determines needs to move out of the body as fast as humanly possible. So those salt crystals, when they go in, first of all, salt crystals are completely unchanged from mouth to anus. They don't change at all. They're just they're not acted upon. They don't. It, your body it's inert. Your body doesn't know what to do with them. They don't do anything. They just float through your system until they're eliminated. And if they don't get eliminated and they settle somewhere, then they settle somewhere, just disrupting stuff. Um, but they are bio unavailable. So because they're inorganic minerals, I'll go over that in just a second.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, uh, so when you, I mean, where do I start with this? You know, why don't I start? Let me back up and just address this question from a slightly different place. Um, the person is right. Okay, the person is right. You do need sodium in this capacity. All right, you do. It is important. They're not lying to you. Like this person doesn't have it wrong. The only thing that they're not getting is that salt doesn't serve those functions because you are looking at the wrong kingdom, right? The entire kingdom of inorganic minerals, that is the kingdom of plant food, the food that plant eats. a plant eats, okay, or plants eat. If you try to jump kingdoms and take their food, you're going to be punished for it. You can't use in any constructive way, right? In any meaningful way, I should say, you can't use the earth minerals in that form. Okay? And salt is one of those earth minerals that you simply don't use effectively when you eat it in your diet. Okay? Uh, you need that food to be processed first, like food processing, basically, except the natural way. So nature processes these minerals and prepares them in such a way, makes sure that they are uh, interwoven with all sorts of fibers and hydration and phytonutrients and phytochemicals and proteins and the whole shebang. There's this whole network of things that Mother Nature intelligently packages to into a food, and it now serves it up to humanity or the animal kingdom for food. It's in that form that sodium is now useful. But if you try to jump kingdoms down a level, why would you do that? Then yeah, then it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and it's just a waste product in your system, and it draws water to itself, like I was saying before. Uh, and I did a video of this long time ago, and I showed you what happens to your tissues, right?
Ooh, I'll leave that below. What is it called? Do you remember the title?
Oh, it's just salt.
Oh,
I think something like that.
clever, clever.
Something like, oh, very clever. Yeah, I
No,
know.
I'm
Very,
gonna leave it below, guys, because I
yeah,
know it's gonna be
yeah,
good. I haven't seen it.
yeah. Oh, yeah, this is like way back now. I did this video, and I just took the camera and I just showed you. I had the reason I did it was because I happened to come by two pieces of two fish, right? So I can't remember how or why they were in my freezer. Maybe it was my brother that was coming to visit or something and threw some fish in there. So
Or
one
are you
day,
one of those fake raw vegans and now
yeah,
you accidentally fucking slipped?
yes, yes, or
Okay,
it's that
continue.
I'm one of those. No, honest, no,
Okay.
honestly, there was I had fish in the deep freezer, so instead of just letting it sit there for month after month after month after year, I'm like, for Christ's sakes, what? I'm never going to use this. I'm never going to find it. Why don't I just make a video of some sort? And like, oh, okay, salt. Yeah, I'll just compare. So just threw one fish in salt, and then the other one not in salt, just on a plate, and then wait a sufficient amount of time, and then you can see that the fish with all the salt is swimming in water. And I take a spoon and just kind of tap it, and the scales are they're hard as rocks. They're like, and then the other fish is still soft and pliable, basically. And so the salt just sucked the hydration right out of the thing and made it shelf stable, right? Remember, okay, dehydrated food, like if you have dehydrated mangoes, dehydrated pineapples, or dates, or whatever, you see how they're shelf stable,
Yeah.
right? Like they last a lot longer on the shelf. Why? Why do they last a lot longer on the shelf? Because you've taken all the hydration out of them. In the Dark Ages, in the medieval era, they didn't have refrigeration. So what did they use? They used salt. Why? Because salt turns something into now a shelf stable product. You can also turn yourself into a shelf stable product if you desire by taking in lots of salt. It'll suck the water out of your cells, out of your tissues, and desiccate you, just like like a food preservative almost. So I don't know, needless to say, you don't want to be doing that, right?
What are the
Yes.
side effects of that? What would we feel? Because to me, immediately I'm like, oh, shelf stable. I'll live
Mm.
longer. I'll last forever then. I'm shelf stable. But I think that's not what you mean.
Yeah, no, it's with organic life, it's not really the
Mm.
case, right? It's a bit different. We
Can we
need.
go to real quick those? I don't want
Mm,
to take you off track, but those
yeah, yeah.
dried fruits, Eli. Now that I think about it, in the beginning I ate a lot of them and I never thought
Hmm.
about it. But now that I think about it and I don't eat them, how are they not molding? Is it simply just by taking the water out, or is there something else going on? Like, how are they not going bad?
Yeah, it's the moisture. The moisture is the medium that degradate oh gosh, degrading degrading bacteria, they prefer, they prefer that fluid medium, and so if you take that away, it's like it's almost paralytic. They can't move as well. They need that hydration to
Just
do their
simply
work.
dehydrating something will make it shelf stable. They don't have to add preservatives or chemicals or put it through radiation.
No, no. Okay, the industry does, because the industry is a bunch of psychopaths, right? The industry will, yeah, but it's not entirely necessary. Like an
Hmm.
apple is not going to last on your countertop not even a contest, than something like dried apple or dried mangoes or dried dates or any of those. Those will last for months and months and months and months and months and months and months, conceivably years.
Yeah.
Actually, no, definitely years. If sometimes if you go to like a mom and pop store and you look and you buy dates, you'll see they're like well expired. And you're like, what the hell? These expired last year. But they keep them on the shelf because they know that they're not really spoiled. You can still eat them, and it's
If
fine.
it can't, Doug Graham, if it can't go bad, it already went bad. Whew.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, tell us, please, what are some of the dangerous side effects of doing that process to your body with this salt, with any salt, right, Eli? Like all
Mm,
of it's the same, right? Himalayan pink salt, black salt, Celtic salt, it's all the same,
mm.
right?
Uh, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so all the salts.
Yes. It is all the same, in the sense that there's no value that they're giving you that you can't get by just being a normal human being and eating food, that is. Okay.
Okay, wait. When you say the word normal, I'm like, well, normal people eat salt, Eli.
I know.
So what in the world are you talking? You trying to say we're normal? Because it's not, no, nothing normal about this.
No, I know. I
But
know.
yeah,
I'm kind of I'm just suggesting that eating a natural,
yeah,
unprocessed diet
yeah.
is normal, is what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah. Well,
Uh
at Bali it will be, and at the Woodstock Fruit Festival it will be normal and
yes.
and very
Yeah.
common. And guys, Eli's going to be at Woodstock as well,
Yeah.
and I'm going to
Yeah.
leave his code below, so please check it out. And
Hmm.
real quick, if anybody wants to volunteer, I'll leave the link below as well for that. Meet Eli, and so he can make you feel, weak when you try to fucking do as many push-ups as him. I'm working on my push-ups though, Eli. I'm working on it every
I
day.
see you. I know. I see you. I'm proud of you.
I
Yeah.
work out. I have a picture of you behind the behind the phone, and
Yeah.
I'm like I'm gonna beat this guy in a fucking contest one day.
she,
One
she,
day.
she's got like my face on a speed bag, and she's like brr, 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 brr,
No,
brr.
because I'm trying to get it, Eli. I'm trying to get fit. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to be the female Eli. Okay. But no,
No, oh, you're
I'm
good,
not going
Jeanette.
in the
No, you're
woods.
good.
I'm not going in the woods and not drinking water. But we'll talk about that another time.
No,
Okay.
it's
Now,
fine.
okay, back to
Hmm.
salt. Let me
Yeah.
focus. What are some dangerous effects of consuming salt besides dehydration, which I don't think people take very seriously? Like Doug broke it down, but I
Hmm.
don't think that word is so overused, Eli. I swear
Yeah.
people, they think, oh, I'm dehydrated. Okay, well, I'll just drink some water. I'm
Right.
fine.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't think
No.
they realize. So, what are some of the physical effects that you have seen from people and you have maybe even felt in the past, or friends and family you see going on with the salt consumption?
Well, for one thing, okay, so your body is largely water. So if you're using a lot of salt and you're chipping away at that hydration level, then uh, vital processes are going to slow down or not function as they should. Your elimination, for example, right, might be impaired if you've got less fluid in your body, okay, or you are allowing the tissues to be just sucked dry of all the water, and so the tissues starts to harden, right? You can get mineral deposition in your body. Like if you don't eliminate that salt properly, like let's say your organs aren't working as they should, and you're not eliminating that salt, okay, you can start getting mineral deposits now, or salt deposits in your body, and that is again, it's another bioaccumulation problem that can show up in the future. It might not affect you tomorrow or the day after, but it's something that might slowly bioaccumulate and then give you problems later on, right? Like calcification, basically. There is
So
okay.
like kidney
Mm,
stones,
yeah,
like that?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. There,
But I thought kidney stones come from spinach.
n- no,
Oh.
there spinach has oxalate in it. Yes, it does have, almost everything does. Spinach has a ton of oxalate. Yeah, for sure. Uh, okay, sorry, a ton. I'm just speaking. It's not a ton. It's just it does have higher oxalate content than some other things. But that oxalate, it's already being used, right? So if it's in a plant structure, it's kind of like it's already being used, um, having run through the plant system. It's bound to things. And oxalate, when it binds to a mineral, it doesn't like to come apart. It's pretty secure, right? It's pretty secure and fixed. And in that form, if you take it into your body, well, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do any of the bad things that people will say it does because it's already bound. So it'll just go in and out, right? You only
Oh.
start, yeah, you only start getting into trouble if you introduce free floating oxalate into your system. And that only happens for a couple reasons. Supplements,
Uh,
where you're taking like a chemical synthetic version of something, and there's oxalate in it, and it's free float because it's not a whole food anymore, so it's missing all the essential ingredients, and so you can put oxalate into your system through supplements, right? And you can get it if there are other issues, like if you take antibiotics and you schedule a napalm strike to just run down your GI tract, right? Germs are just they're on fire, crawling, right? All that crap, right? This is what an antibiotic does. Okay, so if you make that unfortunate decision to run a napalm strike on your microbiota, that might be a problem because those microbes, they can process oxalate and make it safe in your
mm,
body, right? If need be.
mm,
But if you destroy those microbes with drugs, then that person might now have a problem with eating high oxalate containing foods, right? But it's not because they're eating those foods in itself that's causing the issue. It's because they took antibiotics, they're on all the supplements, and they don't even consider that relevant. So they go to the physician and they report all these issues. They don't even bring up the fact that they're on supplements or took antibiotics, because in their mind, that is not relevant information. Well, it's
And do you
bloody
fucking think, yeah, it's bloody relevant. It's
relevant.
motherfucking. See, Eli wants to say it's motherfucking relevant, but he doesn't know he could curse around here. But listen, you think the doctor's gonna fucking tell you, oh, actually, that stuff I gave you, that really fucked you up. You know
Yes.
what? Let me give you something else to fuck you up even more. But I'm not gonna kill you because I need, you to come back. If you die, I can't get that yacht. So basically, like, you think the doctor's gonna tell you that? Absolutely not. But
No.
anyway, I was just gonna ask, did you take a lot of antibiotics as a kid? Were you always sick, or were you pretty healthy as a kid?
Um, I I was very active, okay? So I was always like fit. So I was
Mhm.
always into fitness. So for whatever metabolic benefits and safeguards that afforded me,
Yeah.
that was in my life. Thank God. Okay? But was my childhood free of irritations and issues? No, no, no. I was as a kid, right? Just like a lot of us. And I have a suspicion, and this is the problem. I can never prove this. I can never prove this because it's buried down too many layers of your body being able to protect itself against offenses. I have no idea, like it, but I would guess very strongly that that's probably one of the reasons I had and have to an extent allergies
Mm,
because of those when I was a kid. The like a couple of the standard ones, right?
mhm.
That's such a ridiculous. That was difficult to come out. The standard poison. Oh my God, it's hard. I can't even say it without vomiting in my mouth a little bit. So yeah, I had mucus congestion chronically. I had dry skin. My hands, I had very very bad dry skin on my hands, and
Mm.
yeah, just like a little ear. Asthma. So I had to every once in a while. Mom had to pull out that godforsaken mask and put it on my face, and I had to just sit there and breathe in these fumes because that was a symptom reliever, and nobody told me I was just palliating symptoms and there was no
Mm.
end in sight, and I would be a faithful customer for life to this blood-sucking sadistic industry,
That's
right?
another thing they're so good at, making customers for life.
Making customers for
They
life,
are
yeah.
so good at that shit, and they're doing it through the supplements, although nobody here takes supplements anymore. So,
Mm.
right? Everybody threw out. We had the Woodstock ceremony of destroying our supplements, like they used to destroy the records or whatever they did back in the day, the Beatles records. No, we all smashed our supplements, right? When Eli ruined them for us, right? Like,
Right.
everybody's off the supplements, right? I've decided it's irresponsible. From now, I'm researching it, right? Like, now I'm really getting into it ever since our interview. It
Mm.
is irresponsible to recommend supplements. It is
Yeah.
the opposite of what they
Yeah.
tell us. They tell us it's irresponsible not to. Oh no, it's irresponsible
Mm.
to. By the way, sorry, I'm going all over the place,
No,
but
no, it's okay.
did you get the book by any chance, the B12 book?
I
Have you?
did. Yeah, it hasn't come in yet.
Oh,
I
right.
did though. Yeah.
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 Well, you can't.
Actually, actually I think it comes in tomorrow. I
You can't
think.
rely on that
I
to
think.
Canada. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Don't you have
Yeah.
1 day shipping? Well, what is going on over there?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we do.
What
But
is
for whatever reason, it came a little bit later.
You're gonna love the book. Although I feel like a lot of the stuff in the book, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Eli taught me that.
Mm.
You knew a lot of the stuff in this book.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Okay.
it's interesting that, like, she dedicated her life to
Mm.
researching just B12. But you do you constantly research? Because you know so much about so many different things. Are you just constantly reading?
Uh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't really entertain myself nearly as often as I used to. Like my form of entertainment is reading. That's kind of how I have fun. Or if I need to relax and I've got dinner in front of me and my hands are going to be occupied, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just relax and then I think about, a TV show. No, I'm just going to relax and put something on my computer screen, and that way, because I can't read because my hands are occupied. Oh, so I'll just read off my computer screen. That's how that's fun for me. So,
Yes, nerd shit.
so
That's some nerdy shit. That's why you're so
it's some
smart.
nerd. Yeah,
That's why,
it's
guys, he entertains himself. And I just recently saw an interview with Doug and Eli. I think it was that one. It was great. And then Eli's like, yeah, I mean, for fun, he's making a salad. He's like, for fun, I'll just do a split with a heavy weight, just for fun while I'm in the middle of making dinner. I'm like, that's what I got to do. That's why the motherfucker looks so good. You see, I'm taking notes, Eli. I'm taking notes and because for me, I'm the opposite of you. I never worked out until a
yeah.
few years ago. I
Mm,
never had any fitness in my life.
mm,
I was just couch potato, TV, and chips and TV and ice cream, like no fitness in my
right,
childhood,
right.
and also no reading. What the fuck is that? No, like I never became a reader until a few years ago also.
Yeah,
So
good for
yeah,
you.
you got
Yeah.
about 35 years on me, but I'm coming for you, man. We taking notes. We taking notes. Now I can't wait for you to write your book. I can't wait.
Me neither. Yeah, me neither. It will
Yes,
come
you
out.
will.
It
Oh
will
yeah.
come out. But it's just delays and whatnot, and especially
Well,
with
it's going to be at
this
least a
household.
thousand pages. So, like, I understand the
Yeah.
delay. What topic, like, could you pause? You got to narrow it down and God help your editor. But anyway, okay. So now back to the salt. Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, what are some reasons, are there any things you found out about salt that most people don't know? Most people know it dehydrates, they don't really care. Most
Yeah.
people know it raises their blood pressure, they don't really care.
Yeah.
I guess, they're not like concerned or shocked by that because that's just such mainstream knowledge. Yeah, of course. Okay, but fuck it. You only live once.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
are there any really like, how long have you been off salt, Eli?
Uh, it would be like just so I've been doing this for 10 years now, like this like a raw food kind of high fruit diet. So I've been doing that for 10 years now. So off salt, um, I can't remember exactly when I cut it out prior to making the shift to what I'm doing now. Um, whether it was several months or a year or maybe I'm a bit hazy on exactly when I cut it out, but it's something like that. So maybe 11 years. Right. Because that was one of the last things that I actually eliminated from my diet was salt.
You're
And because
hazy because you stopped taking the B12, so you
yeah,
can't remember.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now you don't
exactly.
know, but it's been like over a decade since you've had
Yeah,
salt.
yeah, for sure. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Wow. So sorry. So what are some reasons why that nobody knows? Like what are some of the shocking things that you have found out or has anything surprised you about salt and the dangers of it?
Um, it- okay, so it's not digestible. At first that kind of surprised me. So
Yeah.
you don't really do anything that we can see with salt, right? Um, it doesn't really have any good food value. Uh, okay, all right. We're sold on okay. So there's all of this hoopla for, to use a lame expression. There's a lot of hoopla about all of the minerals in
Yes.
salt, okay?
Yes.
And you should include them in your diet because you're getting
Yes.
these exotic minerals that, come from a secluded water cave, where a yogi sits on them upside down for 40 hours before he ships them off to you, like that kind of nonsense, right? So, uh, so yeah, they've got all these minerals, and the reason you need to incorporate them into your diet is because you can't get all of those rich minerals from your regular diet. Okay, that is a myth. That is a myth. The, those the salt it does. Now I'm gonna go through a very important part of this in just a second, right? I'm leading up to it.
Okay.
But that salt may in fact contain all of those minerals. What they're not forthcoming about is the fact that in order to make any meaningful dent in your daily requirement for those minerals, you would have to eat enough salt to put you in the grave. They don't tell you that, right? So you would you would need to expire
These
from
motherfuckers.
radical salt poisoning before you even got close to putting a dent in your mineral requirements. So it's actually a very, very, very poor source of minerals, especially compared to what happens if you try to use salt liberally enough to do anything about your mineral levels. You'll die way before you get into any meaningful intake. It's much better to go
Wow.
through the route of apples and lettuce and celery, and I'd much prefer that. So that's something people don't really know. Um, there is okay. So here's what I wanted to stress. So on top of the regular normal insuitability of salt, okay, on top of that, there is another side of the picture where we're talking about salt contamination. And there is now there's a very good article on this. I'll send you a link. It's an article by Mamavation. Some of you might be familiar with this already, and she did a personal investigation, private investigation of a whole laundry list of salt, like popular salt brands, and tested them for heavy metals and other pollutants. Okay, the results came back, and the the bottom line is that there is virtually no such thing as any salt brand that doesn't have a certain level of contamination in one or several heavy metals like lead, arsenic, cadmium, um, no, there weren't many microplastics. No, there weren't many microplastics, but there were those key heavy metals. Aluminum is the other one I'm forgetting. Okay. So aluminum, arsenic, cadmium, and lead. Okay. Very dangerous, very, very, very dangerous pollutants, heavy metals, and those can be found in virtually every single salt option that you have available to you that you buy as a consumer. None of them are clean. None of them. Right? They're all contaminated. Even the good ones, okay, even the ones that are cleaner are not clean. They still have heavy metals in them, just not as many, right?
Okay. Yeah, continue. I have a lot of questions. Like, how long do you think it takes? Because we're obviously everyone has thrown out their mustard and their fucking coconut aminos at this point. Okay, so thank you for that. Thank you for ruining that. Now wait, how long do you think it takes to get this out of the body? What is the process of that?
Oh, um, hmm. That is a good question. And it's okay. One thing I'll say is it takes way longer than you think. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I can't be entirely certain of how long it takes before that last drop of salt leaves your body.
There's no way to know.
That I don't know. I can't say with certainty. Like I can't give you like a concrete answer. Um, but it's months.
Because Doug said it's 6 to 12 months just for the adrenal glands to
Yeah.
start the healing process.
Yeah.
And then after the interview, because I watched it multiple times, and then I was like, oh, I wonder what he would have said, how long it would take to get salt out of the body.
Right.
And it's like years, decades, what are
Yeah.
we talking here?
I I'm not sure. But however, um, if I were corroborating what you heard from Doug, I know that in my own experience, it took approximately that long before I noticed that my palate was resensitized completely. So that I can say for sure, right? Because I directly experienced it, and I only really noticed that my taste buds were truly changing, and it required definitely months of responsible
Mm.
elimination, right? So your discipline has to be on point. You have to be willing to make it through those first several nights, first week where your body is going to be in withdrawal. This, by the way, withdrawal, okay? But this is I'll return back to that. Um, the fact that you have withdrawal symptoms and other drug-like symptoms when you remove salt from the picture, right? That should be, see, that should be telling. That should tell you, it should be reveal something to you about the relationship between your body and inorganic salt, the inorganic version of salt, right? If you have to detox and you have like harsh, like yearning cravings for the thing, it means that you're on drugs. That's what it means. It it and
That, yeah, yeah.
it doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter how many watermelons you eat in a year. Or excessive loads of them, you will never be addicted to watermelon. It won't have that
Well,
effect, right? It
no,
won't have
no, I'm not
no.
addicted. I just, like it.
Yeah. No,
But
you
your
might
house may end up looking like this though,
yeah.
because okay,
You might prefer, like you might prefer because the
yes,
tastes
prefer,
are
yes,
pleasurable.
prefer,
But if someone you have a preference,
yes,
you can't be human without preferences. But if someone removed your preference all of a sudden, just drastically, you would just effortlessly makeshift and go eat some other splendid fruit
yes.
or salad or whatever, and you wouldn't be you wouldn't have those same type of yearning, rapacious types of cravings for watermelon. Nobody,
It's so true, Eli, because
it's different. It's
I'm
different.
enjoying the persimmons so much right now. And
Hmm.
the oranges, I got these seeded oranges that are so, I guess tangerines, whatever. They're so good. I don't even want watermelon. It's a nice
Hmm.
break because I was eating so much in the summer, right? All every
Yeah.
day, multiple times a day, sometimes just, watermelon. And it's like, okay, I want something new. And then I
Right.
can't wait for next summer. But like it's so true, guys. You will never be addicted to something that's good for you. You will
Hmm.
never be. And then
Yeah.
thanks for answering my question, which was somebody asked the question, why is it so addicting? Why is salt so addicting? So you just answered it, which is it's a drug. It's so addicting
Yeah.
because it's a drug. But
Yeah.
Eli, people think, and I thought too, that salt is not a drug because it's made in nature. Isn't
Because
it made
it's
in nature and
yeah.
animals lick salt rocks or
Right.
something? And so we should too.
Right. It's yeah, this is found in nature. Okay? Found in nature. This is another stumbling block.
Yes,
Um,
let's understand.
yeah. So before I get there, I was talking about withdrawal, right? So you have withdrawal symptoms. And so that should you would have to have enough understanding of yourself and how you work to recognize withdrawal symptoms when they hit you, right? So that would be a way that you could be your own doctor, right? And removing salt is gonna necessitate a certain amount of withdrawal, and then it just gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. Okay? So anyway, I just wanted to say that. Um, is everything natural necessarily good? The answer, of course, has to be no. Has to be no. And you all know that that's the case. You know that that's the answer. You didn't need me to answer that for you. Just use your imagination. Just go through and draw up, conjure up in your memory something in the natural world that is very obviously not food. Okay, you're going to find that you can create a massive list of natural things that are simply not food. The presence of nutrients is not what makes a food. Okay, let me say that again. Merely the presence of nutrients is not what makes a food. Okay, so you
Ooh, that's
don't,
good.
right?
Ooh,
Um,
that's good. That's good. And that's the explanation too with the supplements. Sure, there's stuff
yes,
in there.
yeah,
That's not food though.
but it's not
That's
food,
not for you though.
right?
There
Right.
might be the I don't know what you're gonna do with cholbate and cyanide and whatever, but there's stuff in there. There's minerals in there. Not your kind of minerals though. But okay,
Right. Right.
we digress.
Um, the salt licks. Okay, so animals sometimes using salt licks. Okay, how do we make sense of that? It is there is some value in looking to nature and getting informed on some questions. There is a value there. You always have to use discernment though in what you take, what you accept, and what if you think about and reason through, you would leave. Okay, so it is a valid thing modeling certain behaviors off of nature. All right, in terms of salt, all right, inorganic salt. Again, animals are just like us. They're designed physiologically very much like ourselves. Um, Animals also cannot decide to jump kingdoms to the next level down to the plant kingdom and eat their food. Okay. Now it doesn't matter how many dogs you see licking the soil or horses doing it. Okay. They their bodies can be just as hooked on stimulants as ours. You can fool and you can pull the wool over an animal's eyes big time with food, right? It if you lace a pigeon's food with cocaine, that pigeon is because they don't have conscious sophistication like you or I. Okay, they don't. They just don't. All they have is sheer instinct. They don't have that. They are missing that part of cognitive development that humans have. So when you hook an animal on like a hard drug like cocaine, they have no they will feed and indulge in their addiction until they die with no ability to control it, right? So animals can be fooled as well. And if an animal finds some sort of salt lick or clay lick or whatnot, um, it because it's a very, very concentrated dose of a particular mineral, they go after it, but it's not necessary. In fact, animals, cattle, this has been observed many times by farmers. Cattle do perfectly fine not touching salt for their entire lives. Okay, it is not necessary. Wild horses don't need salt. They and many groups, packs of stallions, if running in the wild, they don't need salt. But you can find a patch, and it's stimulating enough for an animal that they're just like humans. They're just like humans. Give me the salt, give me the salt, give me the salt, right? If you've ever craved salt, just you think, yeah, this can happen to an animal just the same. We have the same system in that capacity, right? So, but do they need these salt licks? Absolutely not. They do not, and they do very well without any salt in their lives, right? Both domesticated animals and um, well, farm animals, and any kind of animal,
And
right?
without any supplements too, but we passed that.
Yeah,
They do
yeah, of
pretty
course.
well without any vitamin D or B12 or
Right.
K2 or
Yeah,
whatever. Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
Wow. Wow, that was really helpful. Thank you. Because I never
Yeah.
understood that one. I
No, you're very welcome.
understand it.
You're very welcome. And
Yeah.
yeah, just always remember, um, okay, natural salt, natural salts that you find in nature, it's not just sodium chloride that you're finding. Remember, right? There are all sorts of other elements and heavy metals and other contaminants. The word contamination, sometimes it sounds like, synthetic, labs and whatnot. Okay, but in this case, we're talking contamination of very natural heavy metals that are just found in nature, alongside your sodium, right? So, a patch of soil or a patch of dirt, might have a bunch of sodium that you're picking up in your palate, but it also might have arsenic, lead, aluminum. It might have cadmium. You don't want cadmium in your body. All of these things, right? So, just be mindful of that, right? Be mindful of that. And that is reflected, that danger of heavy metals in the natural world, naturally occurring, hard earth minerals. That's reflected in the difficulty, it seems, in the industry preparing salt products for you that is also free of those contaminants. Because right now, in the current state the industry's in, none of y'all with your salt products. I don't care how wonderful the source is, how beautiful the influencer's hair is that sold it to you, right? It
I
all of
didn't
it.
sell anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, continue.
Yeah, all of that salt, all guaranteed it has, heavy metals, traces of heavy metals.
Oh,
Small, maybe small, that minute, that won't off you the day after. No. But the question is, do you want to be putting toxic heavy metals into your system?
well, what
And
are some of the side effects? Because people don't know. Like, what are some of, because here's the thing, people are suffering and they
mm,
don't know that they're causing their own suffering. So,
hmm
like, real quick, what are some of the side effects of consuming salt with heavy metals? What are some things that happen to the human body?
well, acutely,
Acutely, yeah.
okay, so if you have an acute, and this is the interesting thing with salt, like table salt now, um, acutely, the symptoms for poisoning of all of these heavy metals, right? Lead, cadmium, chromium, aluminum, thallium, cobalt, silver, osmium, all sorts of them. Okay, the symptoms of acute poisoning is all the same, is virtually the same. It's like nausea, gastrointestinal discomfort, um, dehydration, right? Laxatives. Many of them can be used as laxatives. For example, um, Epsom salts. Okay, so if you go, nobody uses Epsom salts dietarily. I don't know why. It's the same as regular salt. It's not the same, but the effects of acute poisoning of Epsom salt and regular salt are like virtually identical. Vomiting, nausea, gastrointestinal discomfort, um, diarrhea. Your body is it's trying to get rid of that stuff immediately. So salt fits neatly into this list of heavy metals that have certain symptoms associated with them, and salt has the exact same ones if you use too much in an acute bout. And
Wow.
over the long term, right? I, look at society. Look at our condition, right? I, everything. What happens when heavy metals bioaccumulate? I, things get disrupted, right? There's no telling what could happen, how those could affect you. But you are talking about possible calcification of certain tissues, and like I mentioned it already. I mentioned it earlier, and that can impair their function. But yeah, there could be all sort. It's like like it's like supplements. Your body is just so good at packing away and storing away pollutants that when something ends up happening, it's very difficult to trace it back to that, right? Because your body allowed you to tolerate something for a long time. Generally speaking, people make the mistake of conflating toleration with immunity. That's also an issue. People don't understand that very well, right? I'm immune to this, I'm immune to that. No, your body's just tolerating it by eroding or degrading certain structures in your body. And so it has to tolerate the burden of your choice, but it's not immunity, right? That's totally different.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
bar. Write that down. Your body has to tolerate the
Mm.
poison of your choice. Is that what you said? The poison?
Yeah, I'm saying people are lumping under
Yeah. Yeah.
the same umbrella,
Uh-huh.
toleration of something and immunity. But
Yeah.
those are very, 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 very different,
Yeah,
right?
that's good. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm glad you mentioned
Cool.
cobalt
Yeah.
malt, because I'm doing
Mm,
a lot of research on that because that's found in every single methyl and
mm,
thiocobalamin. It's in every single B12.
yeah.
And that is like a big ingredient in there.
Yeah.
And that's a heavy metal, and that is a poison, and that is like just what these plant-based doctors are recommending. But
Hmm.
anyway, it's totally irresponsible. But okay, we're gonna move on from that. What about Salicornia? Have you heard of this green salt? Have you ever heard of it?
Uh, no, I haven't. No.
Okay. So there's this product that people keep recommending to me, and I
Mm,
finally, like I broke down and started like recommending it to get off salt.
I
Salicornia,
see.
I'll send, you're not going to order it. You don't need it, but I'll send you a link. It's a succulent because I want to get your opinion on this. It's
Mm,
a succulent that like aloe, I guess, and then it's very salty in nature.
mm.
And it is, I guess I could share my screen, but either way, it's now like a salt replacement
Oh,
in the
okay.
community.
Okay.
Um, a lot of raw vegans are using it,
Mm,
and I'm curious if you've ever had it. You've never had it because you never heard of it.
mm.
Is that something you would try? Would you?
Probably not.
Why not?
Well, okay. Sea vegetables are touted to do the same thing. They're often promoted as salt replacers. Yeah. Okay. Why is a sea vegetable a good salt replacer? Right? Because it has that familiar salty taste, right? That salty hit. So it's a good salt replacer. And to your eyes, it doesn't look like the table salt, right? It looks different. It looks it looks natural, right? It looks like a it's just this free floating vegetable, right? It's wonderful. Oh, it's got to be so natural. So if it's salty, then I might as well use it because nature, it's natural, right? It's in the sea,
It's
and the
like you're
sea,
belly dancing.
you
I
know,
love it. Yes. Okay,
right?
continue.
Yeah, you've seen the ads. The sea has 90 some odd minerals, and all of them are necessary, that kind of, okay, the marketing.
I'm
So,
afraid for what you're gonna say, Eli, 'cause it sounds like you're about to ruin seaweed, and it's like it's the only salty thing we fucking had. But continue. Let me just mute myself. It sounds like you're about to do something that we don't
so
want.
maybe it's possible, but you know what? I mean, look, I'm I'm a dude. I'm just talking on the internet, okay?
Yeah,
You
don't
can
trust just any random person on the internet, guys. Okay, no, continue. I'm really interested. I don't need
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
but I'm really interested.
Yeah, no problem. So we go after it because it's salty and it provides us that same hit, but we're also relieved because it's not actual salt in a salt container that looks like table salt, right? Because some of us know, okay, that's bad. I shouldn't do that. But look at this beautiful leaf. Well, that piece of seaweed is getting the salty hit because it was reared in the sea. So it's just onboarding the exact same sea salt that you're trying to avoid in the shaker can. It's sea salt. The classic enemy of all sailors for all of time, sea salt. It's this nightmare of a substance, and it looks so attractive. They they're starved or not starving, but they're thirsty. They're dehydrated on the high seas, and they've got this water everywhere. They know they can't drink it. They know they can't because they'll die faster, right? Okay, that that ocean with that sea salt that manufacturers dehydrate and sell you in bottles, and then the really expensive one they sell you in bottles except they're purple. So the label is purple, right? For you, that warrants more of your money. That same salt, it just diffuses and is worked upon by the by the sea vegetable. So you're just getting really the exact same thing.
I feel so stupid right now.
Um,
See, that's what I'm trying to prevent at Woodstock. That's why I'm working out because I don't want
yeah.
to feel weak when we work out together. That's why I'm working out. Now I feel so stupid
No,
because no, no,
no.
no. This is good. I don't, oh, I don't know why. I bet you somebody watching this also just had an aha moment.
Mm,
Why did we think that sea vegetables don't contain sea salt?
yeah,
Why did we not put that together?
right,
I
right.
never, I'm not even joking. I never put that together.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
obvious. It's right in our face. It's obvious. And it didn't even occur to me. Leave it down
sure.
below if you also hate Eli Martyr and the Free Melon Society. No, just kidding. Subscribe to Eli because he'll change your fucking life and you won't even thank him for it. You'll be mad at him for years and then you'll thank him, but you'll forget he's the fucking one that did it. Okay, but anyway, sorry, my New York came out. He's the fucking one. My New York came out. But listen, guys,
Yeah.
put it down below if you also didn't really know that sea salt and sea vegetables are one in the same.
Mm. The same. Now,
Duh.
now playing devil's advocate with myself, okay?
With yourself.
with myself, yeah. If I had to counter myself, all
Okay.
right, let's just say, and I might say something like, uh, well, the plants, right? The plants are taking those inorganic minerals into themselves, yeah, just like the land vegetables, and so they're changing them and turning them into something usable, right? Um, and I can concede that that probably does happen, and there might be a certain proportion of minerals of sodium in that plant that is changed and in an organic form. I'm sure that happens to a certain degree, but it's not all of it though, right? So it still will take in and just diffuse into it salt water. Uh, some of it, right? Some of the salt that it because it has roots. Well, not roots. It attaches itself to the seafloor wherever it is, and it will pull just like a land vegetable. It'll pull up stuff from underneath. So if there is inorganic salt there that makes it through that system, then yeah, then it'll change it up and make it more bioavailable. But it's still a sea vegetable sitting in the sea. So it's there's still gonna be all sorts of seawater that it just takes in by
Yep.
virtue of being there. So again, playing devil's advocate to myself, you might get a mix
Yep.
of
Yep.
of,
Yep.
of both. You know what I mean?
But you hit it on the head. You're so smart, Eli. You're so smart because people are telling me I have these raw vegans in my life. They're like over 20 years raw, 25 years raw, and they shall remain nameless. And they eat this salicornia and they're trying to get me
Mhm.
on it. And I'm like, I'm not into salt. I don't need it. I'm
Right.
good. If I get addicted to that shit, then I gotta get off that shit. I don't want to be
Yeah.
an addict anymore. And then
Yeah.
they're like, but it's not a sea vegetable. But you're right, because I just looked it up and it is a sea asparagus. It grows in sea water or salty soil and it absorbs the salt water through the roots. And that is exactly what you're saying. And that's why it's salty. Wah, wah, wah. Like, what the fuck? It's salt inside the tissue. It's from the salt water. It's the
It's
just eat salt. Of course, that's why it's salty like that. Because,
yes.
yeah, by the way, celery is salty too. Not like that, not like salad,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's only salty when you do the work that, like Eli said, to get off the salt, then you
Mm,
will taste the saltiness. I can't even eat certain vegetables. They're so salty.
right.
Has that happened to you?
That yes, it has. And when you do, let's just say accidentally, all right? This sounds ridiculous. This
What are
sounds
you doing accident? Let me hear this sentence.